Okay, let's give this a go. This is one of our learning lessons, and we're going to be working on the TDA prompt. And remember that TDA stands for Text-Dependent Analysis, and we're working on some skills for the essay, specifically for the essay. Some ideas that'll help students and teachers, us as well, focus on getting that prompt just right. And we've got to help students narrow in on what it is the prompt wants us to do. So here's how I think through it. It might work for you, it might work for some of your students, but this is what works for me. So I'm going to do 4 of these, and I'd like you to work them along with me to see how they work for you. And I'm going to do a think aloud as I'm working through it. So as I read it, it says to write an essay. And I am going to draw a box around it. And for right now, I'm going to write the terms or the phrase, what to do, because that is telling me what I have to do. I have to write an essay. And I want students to be thinking in their head, that's what they have to do. Analyzing how. And I'm going to put another box around that because this is telling me what my thinking skills have to be. I'm going to have to be doing some pretty heavy thinking skills here. So I want them to know that anytime the prompt is asking for analyzing, it's asking for them to be thinking. How this statement, the statement that was given for them to look at, made by Michelle Kwan, okay, and they tell them that it was made by somebody, in this case it was Michelle Kwan, shows how it shows something, a lesson that she learned, okay? So right now we're just getting the gist of it. It's got to show a lesson that she learned, and that she's got to use evidence from both passages to support the response. Okay, so we know they have to write an essay, they're going to have to analyze it, and they're going to have to look at a statement. So to get students thinking, we're going to write down that they're going to have to put some kind of a statement. So let's go ahead and write that down. Statement. And if there is a statement, I would actually write it here. That would help me. It shows a lesson. So I'm going to write down what the lesson is. What the lesson showed. How this statement made by Michelle Kwan shows a lesson that she learned. Use evidence from both passages, and those passages have to be from passage 1. And then I'm going to write any statements from passage 1. But then I'm going to, in my head, be thinking, I've also got to put passage 2 and any statements. So as I'm reading through it in my head, I want to be thinking about, I want to have maybe 2 lists side by side, sketching it out on paper, because it's got both passages, and I want to be able to see, are there things where it's the same in both passages, or are there places where it's different in in the 2 passages, based on what the lesson shows. And remember, the lesson has to show what did she learn. So in this column, I might put she learned to be confident. That's not right. But the statement in passage 1 that would show that would be boom. The statement in passage 2 would would be boom. The lesson that she found in passage 1, another one might be that she works hard. So I'd write down here that she works hard, whatever it is, and then write down the statement. And then I might find that also in passage 2. And then when I'm reading passage 2, I might find something there that I didn't find in passage 1, that she learned that it's important to be kind. So I might have some for passage 2 that I didn't have for passage 1. So in that case, I couldn't use that one, because it really says evidence from both passages. Oh, I guess I could use it because it doesn't say it has to be both in it just says to use both passages, but I could use that one. So now because of how the statement is set up, I've got a really nice little organizer for taking my notes, and I have a really nice way to do my writing now. So now when I do my writing, I know that I can start off by saying with my introductory paragraph that after reading the paragraphs related to Michelle Kwan, and she made a statement about a lesson that she learned. Actually, there were several lessons that she learned, and then I can talk about the lessons that she learned that were common in both, if there were any, the ones that were common only in passage 1 or passage 2, bring it together. But I have them all listed out where I can cite the evidence. And remember, students must cite the evidence. And that means relating them to the passage, relating them to the passage title. They can relate the passage in so many different ways, as you know. But this will make sure that they are answering the passage correctly. Okay, so that's probably how I would think through the first item. It was a little messy there, but that's how I would think through it. Thinking is messy sometimes. That's okay.